Every day I see you is a fine day.
Hello, welcome back to the channel. Scream 7 just released a week ago, I believe. And man, I saw it the Friday night after it premiered. Kind of feel like it was really kind of flying under the radar. There was a really cool trailer that dropped with the daughter from Landman, Billy Bob Thornton's daughter. She's definitely been in the limelight with dating Glenn Powell recently. And it had some cool aspects in the trailer with the house, Stumacher's house, kind of being like an Airbnb experience. I thought that aspect was really cool. I was really looking forward to that. And then if you did watch the trailer as well, Sydney Prescott, we knew this was going to be about her and her daughter, Ghostface, kind of coming after them. So we do have Sydney Prescott back. We do have Courtney Cox back as well. It's an interesting thing because I think for me, spoiler alert for Screams 1 through 6, and then I'll eventually start to get into spoiler territory with Scream 7. So in Scream 5, as a lot of you know, comes back after an 8-year hiatus, or not 8-year, 11-year hiatus. Scream 4, 2011, Scream 5, 2022. Now, I do really enjoy the radio silence Scream era, the 5 and 6. It's a lot different from the placeholder in Scream 4 and then the original trilogy in Screams 1, 2, and 3. Looking at them as kind of a mirror image of each other. So basically kind of what I wanted to do with this was I'm going to get into Scream 7 and then I'm going to rank all of them and kind of give my thoughts on all of them. I do want to give a notice just up front. I don't think there's a bad Scream movie, and I do think that Scream 7 is definitely a sidestep away from the quality I feel like that Scream movies always kind of have. With Scream 7, as we'll get to, I kind of have very varying thoughts on it. I've only seen it once. I definitely want to give it a rewatch when it does come on to streaming. So as we get into it, Screams 1, 2, and 3, I mean, the OG Scream is probably my favorite horror movie, maybe the most rewatchable. I mean, you have Wes Craven just absolutely dialed in. Kevin Williamson having been the writer for Screams 1, he a bunch of them. And this one, Scream 7, he was the director, which I didn't even realize until the credits came on at the end. Kevin Williamson, famously, his only other directing job was teaching Mrs. Tingle, which I have not seen for years, but that one definitely has a bit of variance in terms of people that liked it, people that hated it, and it's very similar. On Letterboxd right now, I believe Scream 7's at a 2.4, so if I hadn't quite checked, but I think that's probably the worst of all of them, and it makes sense. I think we have to get into it. Scream 7, man. I didn't know how to rate it initially. The thing with Scream is, as they always like to say, there's a playbook. And I feel like the thing with the Scream sequels is a lot of them are just cut and paste. Boom, boom, we're going after it. Scream 1, it follows a certain playbook. Scream 2, they go to college. Which, I mean, yeah, it is a tad longer. There is some fluff, like you can get rid of a lot of the theater stuff, in my opinion. Scream 3 is one of my favorites. I mean, the voice changer is stupid, considering maybe it was way too ahead of its time with AI now being able to play a huge part, as we'll get to that plot device in Scream 7. But Scream 3, I mean, I'll say it right now, it's my favorite Scream sequel. I absolutely love it. I love the Hollywood aspect, the behind the scenes. Them building the set of the original was a really good idea. The return to Woodsboro aspect of that movie was really great. The stuff with the dirty Hollywood producer and it getting produced by the Weinstein brothers is a crazy element that they were able to pull off. I love the doppelganger effect of the Parker Posey character playing Gale Weathers with Courtney Cox, and then you have the David Arquette lookalike, and it's just super cool the way they did that. The comedic effects are rapid fire in that one. So definitely Scream 3 is up there. And then Scream 4, as I mentioned, I feel like it's kind of just a placeholder. The weird filter on it, it just kind of like ruins the vibe. But also I can kind of see Wes Craven, that being his final film, I can kind of see that being a meta commentary on the grainy yellow look of Saw movies of the era, you know, Hostel, just kind of looking greasy and grimy. So I guess I could see that, but it just kind of, it's always very distracting when I watch that movie. And I also think that Hayden Panettiere, she is one of my favorite aspects of Scream 4. Her ability to be the Randy fill-in is huge. I do think one of the mistakes that happened within the first couple Screams is in Scream 2 when they killed Randy. I think that was just a huge mistake. But at the same time with Scream, the characters that get killed off, like in Scream 5 2022, Dewey getting killed, that was really interesting because I think that Dewey being alive would have helped for sure the last couples, but also you have to have stakes in the movie. And also with Scream 5, it's really frustrating because Mikey Madison, Oscar winner Mikey Madison, is just giving a crazy performance. And the fact that her and then Jack Quaid kill Dewey, like, what are we doing here? So I did like those ghost faces. We can get into that now. Ghost face reveal. So I think that the mistake and the area where the last couple Screams really fall short is the ghost face reveal. Now, the GOAT all-time of reveals, the first one is just number one. It is at the top. It's untouchable. I mean, Billy, Loomis, and Stumacher, it's untouchable. You're not going to be able to recreate that. I think with them being at the top, Scream 2, I think, was really solid. Billy's mother and the friend was solid, but also we don't see that friend for like 40 minutes. I forget his name, but you know who I'm talking about. So it kind of, one's really good with Billy's mother, but then one's kind of just like, who's this guy? And then Scream 3, it kind of falls apart even more with Sidney's long lost brother and him being a director and him not wearing glasses when he's worn glasses the whole movie. Kind of makes it fall apart a little bit for me. So I mean, I guess Scream reveals just always fall apart for me, I feel like. And then in Scream 4 with, you got the Charlie, you got the friend, and then Jill Roberts, I think is, I mean, her as a Scream villain, that's probably the best, I would say, right up there with Billy's mother. Those are like S tier, Billy Loomis, Stumacher, and then A tier would be Jill Roberts, Sidney Prescott's cousin, played by Emma Roberts, and Billy's mother. And then after that, it's kind of tricky from there. Scream 5, as I mentioned, we have Jack Quaid as the love interest, and then we have Mikey Madison. They met on like Reddit boards, things like that. It's okay. It's not great. But Scream 6, I mean, it was okay. The reveal was okay. It reveals that there was 3, which one of the things I really did like about the Radio Silence films is in Scream 6, you kind of see the killer immediately in that opening scene. And the opening scene was really cool in that one because it starts off with Samara Weaving at a bar talking to a guy, and then she goes into the alley, gets killed, and then you see Ghostface just take off his mask immediately, and then it's the film student, and then you kind of go on, and then he gets killed. So I think the Radio Silence movies are really cool because, especially with Scream 6, because Scream 5 kind of is, we're back, we're giving homages, we're kind of laying out the same format. There's new group of teens. You know, we got the Mason Gooding, we got his sister, we got Mikey Madison, we got the Dylan blonde tips guy. So we have those characters, yes, in Scream 5, but then Scream 6, I really like what Radio Silence did with the New York college one. I really did like it as its own movie, and it does fall apart a little for me with it being a Scream movie, but I just think if that was a normal, Radio Silence, Ready or Not, or we've seen it with that Vampire Abigail, that movie, they do a lot of fun stuff. So I do really respect Radio Silence and what they did for the Scream franchise in general. Having Dead Meat, one of my favorite YouTube channels, in Scream 5 was an all-time highlight for me. I just think it's super cool that they were able to weave in Dead Meat into that movie. And I think this kind of leads us to a Scream ranking, which I'll give. So Scream 1 is number 1. Scream 3 is at number 2. And then we got Scream 2 and Scream 4, I think, are interchangeable. Scream 2, a little bit more fluff, but Scream 4, the filter really just kind of ruins it for me. I think for me, just the late 90s aesthetic is something that I always really kind of draw towards a little bit more. So I think I'm going to go Scream 1, and then we are going with Scream 3, Scream 2, Scream 4. Now we got the last 3, and it just feels like a whole different era. The 2020s horror is, a lot of it's about trauma and things of that nature. Just, we all went through a lot in COVID, and trauma is just a huge part of it. So we've seen a bunch of trauma movies. It's just trauma is the main thing in horror. Think of Midsommar, Hereditary, these kind of dark, The Babadook, all these kind of movies, just dark themes, just people going through some stuff. And I think Scream 6, honestly, I'll give that 5th spot. I really do like the NYC. We have a different setting. We have Ghostface in the bodega just firing off a shotgun, which is insane. We have, the college party. The core 4 is one of my favorites. And it is an absolute travesty that they were not able to continue with Jenna Ortega and I'm blanking on her name, but the sister duo along with the brother-sister, Mason Gooding, and the other, I forget her name as well, but the core 4 was one of my favorite aspects of Scream 6, and that's why it's getting my number 5 ranking. And, I mean, you can't put Scream 7 above Scream 5. Scream 5, I do like the fact that they were able to come back and bring back a franchise that was dormant for 11 years. People thought it was over with the passing of Wes Craven. People thought it was a wrap for Scream. They didn't know if we'd get it again. And I'm just so happy that we were able to get at least 3 films, maybe more. We'll see with how the success of Scream 7 goes. But it's just so good to have it back. Ghostface is an iconic character in the horror lexicon, and I gotta go with Scream 5 at my 6th spot. And then last but not least, Scream 7. We can get into it now. The worst Ghostface reveal of all time. Really, really bad. This one likes to take some chances, which I respect, but at the same time, the chances have to land, and none of them really landed for me. I will say there are some very, very good kills in this movie, but at the same time, with Scream, it's not really something that we go to Scream for. We don't really go for the kills. This isn't Final Destination. This isn't Saw. This isn't just a kill fest. This isn't In a Violent Nature. This is Scream. And yes, there's a super good kill in, the theater setup where she gets slashed, intestines everywhere, and then the head getting slammed onto the beer kind of thing, and the beer spraying out. That was really cool. But at the same time, I think it just kind of fell flat. It kind of just felt like a to-be original, or just kind of like a Hallmark. I didn't really recognize a lot of the actors, and that was kind of tough. Maybe that's aging me a little bit, but I just didn't really connect with it as well. I did like the mother-daughter aspect. That was really cool, and that's kind of the only thing that held it together. Courtney Cox and Sidney Prescott, their relationship was huge as well. I just really miss Dewey. I miss Randy. And I think the sibling, they kind of messed up with the brother and sister Randy's niece and nephew with Mason Gooding and I keep blanking on her name, but they just really missed it. And the core four, man, we needed that core four to really bring that together. If we had the core four plus the mother-daughter, it would have been really, really, really strong and could have even made it in the top 4 of my Scream rankings. So just disappointing. And we can get into it now with the spoiler of the Ghostface reveal. We have Anna Camp, a surprising addition to this movie. I didn't even realize she was in it. She's the neighbor, and she's mad at Sydney for some reason. And then we have another killer that was revealed a little earlier in the movie, which was cool. They switched it up. They revealed the Ghostface in the first 20-30 minutes, but it was kind of someone working in tandem with the other guy, the other Ghostface killer, which allegedly was one of the workers at a psychiatric place. And the whole movie we think, oh, Stu Macher's back because she's getting these phone calls from someone that's Stu, but then we find out that AI is playing a huge role in messing with Sidney Prescott, and it's not actually Stu Macher. He's actually dead, because one of the theories online is Stu's still alive, they should bring him back, and they kind of did bring him back, but in kind of a weird way. AI is super scary, things like that. It just, I wish they just said fuck it and just brought him back. I wish they just brought him back from the dead, which it's really hard to do that. You get into Friday the 13th Part 8 territory where Jason's, coming out of the lake, things like that. It could get a little wonky there. It's just tough. One of the worst ghost face reveals. The worst one. What else about Scream 7? Back in Woodsboro, I think the small town, I guess, the aesthetic of Sidney Prescott's daughter running around and, there being a curfew and her not being able to get any help was kind of cool. Kind of a little bit of a callback to Halloween where Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't able to get any help. Just music was okay. I don't know, man. Core 4 was really missed. Radio Silence, honestly, I really missed them as well. I kind of wish they just ran it back. But at the same time, I'm really excited for Ready or Not 2. So, Scream 7, if I had to give it a ranking, I sat with it for a while. If I had to give it a ranking out of 10, I'd probably give it like a 5 out of 10. It's pretty disappointing in terms of a Scream movie. If this was not a Scream movie, I don't know, it might be even lower. But just the fact that we do have that relationship with Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox really helped, and the mother-daughter, I think, aspect of the movie was good, and the kills were really solid as well. But I do think if it wasn't labeled, as a Scream movie, I think it would have really been just a box office bomb. I think it could have just been thrown on streamers, honestly. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe I do need to give it a rewatch, but just really kind of disappointed. And I think that I really will forget about it when I go through the rest of the year and watch more horror movies as we get closer and closer to the golden age of scary movies and October. So, as you guys can see, 4 days until the wedding, so I'm super excited for that. I will try to get some content. I'll try to see if I can get some content under the in the drafts, and then we'll be releasing those as time moves on. So thanks for watching. This is a bit of a long video, but Scream rankings, I'm hoping they get a Scream 8. I hope we can get some fresh ideas on the writing block, and I just hope that they can really take a step up, because I think Scream 7 was a huge step down. This has been the Rombough Show. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.